Tyson hit me up yesterday.
Broadcasting live from the EBSN online studios in Columbus, Ohio. It's Silver and Blue Nation, the voice of diehard Dallas Cowboy fans. Now, here are your hosts, Big Game James and Producer G.
What up? What up? What up?
Here we are.
Can you hear me, T?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Hey, what's up, big dog? I'm coming from the VA. Out here in Virginia, it's hot and muggy, but I'm out here celebrating my mom's birthday, but we still about to do the Dallas Cowboy thing. Let's go.
It don't matter where you're at. The show goes on. We do it from anywhere. Hey,
You
you're
know how
all
we
over
do.
the place, man. I'm always seeing you going somewhere.
Hey, I'm just trying to be like you. Just came from Hawaii, hallelujah. So I said, I'm going to be like Gene. I'm getting out of here.
Before we dive into some Cowboys talk, let's go ahead and jump in with some shout-outs and stuff like that because it was coming in early on here. We got Maurice Trevino tuning in on our Silver and Blue Nation Facebook Live, Christopher Glover, Stephen Arthur, Ryan Dye's in there with us. Ryan Dye's been there with us for a long time. We appreciate
up,
you
Ryan?
tuning in. I ain't seen him in a while. And then over here on Law Nation's YouTube channel, we got Brian Drake, Mighty Eye, Mike Mardo, Kyle Banks, Young C-Note, everybody who's tuning in, Wade Wilson. We appreciate everybody who's watching with us right now. This is Silver and Blue Nation live streaming podcast from the EBSN online studios. We're on 5 different Facebook channels right now, so make sure you go jump on Silver and Blue Nation's Facebook channel and leave your comments there so we can give you shout-outs and talk about your Cowboys comments and keep them coming on Law Nation as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to just jump right in then?
Let's jump right in. And you know the first topic of the day is Terrence Williams looking all crazy, driving scooters on TMZ. I mean, last week we talked about it, right, G? And I said, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's not just go ahead and be rash because we don't know what we have. Let's just not jump to conclusions.
Yep.
But then I seen TMZ Sports. Then I seen him riding on the scooter. Then I seen him crash. Then I seen him throw Kendall Wright under the bus and said he did it, called him a jerk. Then I seen he lied, his attorney lied. Y'all got all the wrong stories. Terrence Williams, it might be over for you, bruh.
It's a whole different story when the video comes out, isn't it?
It changes everything. You feel me? Like my perception of it was like, you know what? Let's let it play out. But when I saw that video, I'm gonna keep it real. As soon as I saw that video and saw what he did, I was like, go ahead and cut him, man. Especially if he gets suspended, because what they were saying was that if he gets suspended, then Dallas doesn't really owe that salary. It doesn't hurt them because he's under suspension, so it doesn't come against them. So in my eyes, if you're looking at that and he did all that and you still keep him on the team, that's kind of tough.
Yeah, I mean, that video was embarrassing. He just straight lied to the officer right to his face. And the thing that bothered me the most was how he just instantly was quick to throw his friend under the bus.
Yes.
I'm like, man, I wouldn't be wanting to mess with this dude if he's like that. He just straight ratted him out.
Right. And so, my thing is like this, G, if he's going to rat him out like that, I mean, do you really think any young players are going to respect him? Do you really think any people under him? He's supposed to be let's think about it. Dez Bryant is gone. We don't have any veterans. Bryce Butler left. He's the last of the Mohicans with him and Beasley. So he's looked at as a leader with these younger guys, these rookies coming in, the guys that's coming on the team, Michael Gallup, those guys. If you're behaving like that, do you really think people are going to look up to you and follow you as a leader? No. So I think the only thing is to see what happens with the suspension. If he does get suspended, you just got to cut the ties and keep it moving and find somebody else. Because at the end of the day, the Dallas Cowboys aren't going to die if Terrence Williams is not on the team.
I mean, that's what I was saying last week. You were laughing at me, but I was saying it was his opportunity to be like a number one, and whether that's from a leadership standpoint or whatever, that was his chance. Like you just said, he was the veteran, the number one guy on this team right now, but I think he just ruined that chance. We got a lot of people that's gathering up in here with us now on Facebook Live. If you're just joining us, make sure you jump over to the Silver and Blue Nation Facebook page. Leave your comments there. That's where we'll be watching and monitoring comments and giving shout-outs. And let us know where you're watching us from, too, where you're representing Cowboys Nation from. Raul Vela Jr. in our Facebook Live says T-Well ain't that good of a receiver anyway, which I can agree with that. I mean, that's why we said he's not a number one. Because of the production on the field. But I was just saying last week this was his opportunity to have that chance to, even if it's like what you said, just be like that vocal leader, just a leader as being a veteran.
Right.
But
And I think he killed all that. And everybody messes up. Everybody makes mistakes. But in this type of situation, when Dez Bryant being gone and us getting rid of people, it's not right for them to get rid of Dez Bryant and then you keep Terrence Williams for something like this. It's just not right. He just has to go. And yes, we don't have a lot of these guys that came over to our receiving corps, they got a chip on the shoulder because they want to prove that, you know what, they're saying that we have the worst receiving core in the league. So a lot of those guys have a chip on their shoulder and want to prove. And guess what? This is their time to do it because hey, if Terrence Williams goes, it's all we have nobody besides Beasley out there. So I think it's okay. I think we'll be all right. There's still going to be people that are going to get released out there in training camp. So it's still things that we can look at, and we still got money that we can save and use.
Stephen Arthur's tuning in from Dallas, Texas. Raul Vela's in San Antonio. Zachary Ryan says T-Will caught the ground like he catches a football with his body. Over here on Law Nation's YouTube channel, if you're watching there, we're monitoring those comments as well. We appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you go over and subscribe to the Silver and Blue Nation YouTube channel as well. Ayerman says, hey, guys, Steve Mack. He said it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Stevie Mack.
Happy
Frico
birthday,
Suave.
Stevie
He's got a question. He says, is there a place of weakness on the Dallas Cowboys? And if there is, what would that be? I guess we can go ahead and jump to that question now because I was kind of going to ask you that anyway. So what position would you be most concerned with right now as it stands?
Honestly, receiver. I'm not hating, but we don't have anybody that's proven right now, receiver and tight end. I said that last week, and I'm going to still stay with it because we don't have anybody proven except Beasley, and Beasley just had really one good year with us, and he's not a number one option. He's a slot guy. So now let's say if Terrence Williams does get cut because of this situation, now you're looking at Michael Gallup, Alan Hearns, Beasley, maybe Deontay Thompson. You still got Cedric Wilson, who was our 6th-round pick. We got our Katie Cannon. Lance Lenore may step forward because I posted a video on him, and he did a shoot move on my guy, Jordan Lewis, and shook his feet off. So I think it's still, even though we have these young guys, none of them are proven, and this is the NFL. You're playing against the best of the best. So it's still scary because Dak doesn't have an number one option, and he's really got to make plays, and we don't have anybody out there that's a guaranteed player. And then even on the tight end core with Jason Witten gone, who's going to start for us? It's all up in the air. They had running with OTAs. Jeff Swain got the first starting nod. But it's a lot of unknowns between the receivers and tight ends. So I'm going to go ahead and say that's going to be my strongest, the weakest point on our team so far because it's so unknown.
I'm not personally that concerned about wide receiver and tight end. That's because, for one, Jason Witten he might have been pretty crucial blocking for us, but as far as from receiving production standpoint, it wasn't that great anyway. So I don't think you can really do a whole lot worse than what he was giving us. And same thing with the wide receivers. And now that we have this new group of guys, I think it's even more exciting now because what have we been saying? Dak Prescott played better when Dez Bryant wasn't in the game, when he had guys that he didn't have to force the ball to. And I think everybody can agree with that he played a lot better with those wide receivers, when he didn't have Dez or number one, as you want to say, or
right.
Proven guys, I guess, as you want to say. So that's why I'm not as worried about that as I am about the safety position because I know we got Xavier Woods and Jeff Heath, but we still were getting beat pretty bad last year at times. I know they played a lot better at the end of the season, but I just don't think we did enough at that position to make a huge difference. And also I'm still concerned with linebacker because of the injuries. I still think Sean Lee could get hurt and that Van Der Esch, and we just don't know what he's going to be able to do. And last year when Sean Lee went down, Jalen Smith couldn't hold it down when the defense just absolutely collapsed without him. So I think linebacker and safety for me are the two most concerned.
Yeah, those are good concerns, but to bounce off of you with that, I feel a little better on the linebacking core because even though, we have the Van Der Esch with the possible injury and Sean Lee, you got to look at Sean Lee that even though he missed last year, I think he still played 14 games, and the year before that he played 15. So even though he's not playing a 16-game season, he hadn't missed 5, 6, 7 games like he had been missing before. So I feel a little better than that. And plus, the Cowboys are putting him. You've seen the articles. They're putting him on bubble wrap. They're not doing anything extra with him. He's 32 years old. He's a veteran. He knows the system. He doesn't have to be out there practicing like that. So I think they're going to play a lot of preventive care. And if you look at the safety position, yeah, it's kind of shaky. But at the end of the day, I think Xavier Woods is going to step up. Kayvon Frazier, I feel like, is going to step up. And they did play better at the end. If you look at our receiver core, they regressed as a whole all last year. And now you got a whole new wave of guys that hasn't even messed with Dak. Yeah, you got to get that chemistry, but they have not played together. And practice time and game time is too different. So obviously, I'm not scared, but I am a little worried because I do wonder what's going to happen.
Hey, it didn't matter Dak's rookie year. He came out firing with chemistry with everybody. So hopefully we get something like that going again. But let me jump in here and give a couple shout-outs. Annette's in here with us. Joe Deasy agrees with me. He's talking about safety. Brian Fitzgerald, he says, what's up, guys? Hope y'all have a great 3-day weekend. We don't really do 3-day weekends around here. We're working every day.
Right.
We don't really have days off around here.
Right.
Zachary Ryan says Noah Brown. I'm not really sure what he was referring to there.
Yeah, we forgot about Noah Brown. I forgot about Noah Brown. But at the end of the day, I hear a lot of people screaming Noah Brown, but people need to understand, what did Noah Brown do last year? You expect him to step up, but he's still an unknown. You can say, oh, I think Noah Brown's going to do it, but you don't know because you didn't see Noah Brown. So that's what I worry about, the unknown. You at least got to see Jeff Heath a lot. You at least got to see Xavier Woods. You at least got to see Kayvon Frazier, and you saw what they can do. You really didn't see those other guys last year, so that's just a little worry for me going forward. That's all.
Ryan Dye says he will be disappointed if Jeff Heath is a starter this season.
I will too.
Week 1 of OTAs has been completed. Who'd you hear that might have looked pretty good coming out of that so far? I mean, I know they didn't do a ton yet. They still got a couple more sessions to go, but any injuries or any updates coming out of week 1?
Well, they sat out Sean Lee. David Irvin is I posted a video of him. He looks a little bit out of shape. He had a little bit of a belly. So, that's a concern. Like, I see that. I think that's the thing that frustrates me. And I love David Irvin as, I like David Irvin. But at the end of the day, it seems like it's always kind of something with him. And it's like they really want to pay him that money and make him that elite guy. But it's just like it's always seems something. So, Irvin, Sean Lee, obviously Zach Martin was at camp because of the contract situation.
We'll talk a little bit more about that in a couple minutes.
Lance Lenore looked really good in camp these 3 days. Like I said, I showed the video. Byron Jones was playing the cornerback position. A little thing that was alarming to me was Jordan Lewis was not running with the first team. It was Byron Jones, Awuzie, and Anthony Brown that was the starters, and Jordan Lewis was not. That is a little concerning to me. I know it's only the first week of OTAs, but still, I still look at that as what is Chris Richard thinking, or what is really happening with that. So I'm kind of a little leery of that, but at the end of the day, Taco Charlton, I'm hearing a lot of good things about Taco. He definitely looks a lot bigger. I heard he's been in that weight room, and he looks bigger. And I expect not a breakout year, but I think he's going to do good, and DeMarcus Lawrence has vouched for it because he said it himself. Hey, 2014, I had 1 sack in the playoffs. Well, 2 sacks in the playoffs. Came back, and he got 8 sacks the next year. So he's expecting Taco to make a leap, and I think he will too.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Taco soon as well. But let's go ahead then and stick with camp and all that, because what's something that's important that happened was all the rookies have been signed now. So how huge is that? Like, what does that mean? Like, how does that impact everything that's going on right now?
I think what it does is it gives you clear mind. You don't have to worry about the contracts, negotiations, and the distractions. That's the biggest thing that it seems to me. No distractions. Guys already got their money. They can stay focused, and they can come into camp and try to earn their spot. And I think that's the biggest thing. You don't want to have these guys when you're going into camp and somebody's still sitting out. And what we've had the last couple of years, our 3rd-round picks have been one of the last ones to get signed. Those have always been the last ones to get signed, our third-round picks. And then you get Michael Gallup, who signs his contract, and he was our third-round pick. So I think it just gives us peace of mind. It's one less thing for a distraction on our team, and it just gives really these rookies time to come in and get some work. Because if you look at our rookie pool, there's a lot of spots open for these guys to come in and make plays, and not just the guys that were signed as far as drafted. We got a lot of undrafted free agents that really could possibly make the team. The Osborne kid from Oklahoma State. We've been talking about the Robinson kid from from Oregon. Cameron Kelly from San Diego State. The Kelly Kiro from Northwestern. So we got some guys out there from the undrafted pool that could make the team. And we love putting undrafted people on the team and making plays.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and jump back in the comments for a sec here. Once again, let me just remind everybody, if you're just tuning in, this is the Silver and Blue Nation Facebook live streaming podcast. We're also on YouTube as well. We're on Law Nation, so if you're tuning in there, we appreciate it. Make sure you go check us out on the Silver and Blue Nation. Subscribe to us over there on our YouTube channel as well. And if you're on Facebook, make sure you jump on the Silver and Blue Nation page, because we are on 5 different pages. That's where we'll be able to monitor and see your comments and give you your shout-outs. So keep the comments and questions coming. We'll try to get to everybody as we can, as well as our pre-built topics for this show. We got a lot of comments coming in from Ryan Dye, who said he's going to be watching a lot more now. We appreciate you. He said he's been busy. He says, how much play time you think both Scarborough get?
You know what? I don't know. A lot of people talking about Scarborough, and I like him as the pick because the value that we got him at the 7th round. But people keep talking about Bo. You need to remember Rod Smith, because Rod Smith came on last year, and I think Rod Smith is still going to make a difference. And if you look at the lineup that they started with in the OTAs, it was Ezekiel Elliott, it was Rod Smith, it was I think Tyler Williams, I believe, and Bo Scarborough was 4th on the depth chart. I think he may come in on short distance, goal line situations, and they'll work him in maybe 3rd and 4th quarters. But we can't guarantee that he's making the team. I know everybody thinks he's going to make the team, but there's no guarantee he's going to make the team. So he's got to still come in and show and improve, because he was a 7th round pick. No guarantees on his end.
I personally think, I said this last week, that he could end up having the biggest impact of any rookie that we drafted this year. So I think he's going to come. I think they're starting him at the bottom, which is good for him, because he's probably going to need that motivation. And then I think he's going to work his way up and be a beast. I just have a good feeling about him. So hopefully it goes in that direction.
I'm going to hopefully run off your feeling.
So I saw a thing that said Earl Thomas could still be an option for the Cowboys, because he hasn't really showed up for the Seahawks yet. He's waiting on some type of deal to be done, I guess, or for them to trade him. But what do you think could happen with that? Is it still an option for the Cowboys?
I mean, I think it's still an option, but I think when we really look at our whole outlook of our team, it seems like Stephen Jones is running this now. You know what I mean? Stephen Jones is not that guy that's going to go out there and spend all that kind of money, because Earl Thomas wants to get paid. He does wants to get paid, and he should get paid because of the work he's put in. So I think that extension of what the money he's asking for is still the sticking point. And I don't know, because the Cowboys value those draft picks, that will happen. I think it's still on the table, but it's got to be an absolute good deal for the Cowboys. And if it's not an absolute good deal for the Cowboys, I don't see them doing it.
Well, I thought I saw something else related to that, but it'll come back to me in a little bit. So then the NFL Top 100 list was released Monday. You got to fix your cam.
Okay, hold on.
Screen turn. You got to turn it back the other way.
There we go. Hold
on. So the NFL's Top 100 list that comes out every year came out Monday. It always comes out Mondays. And last year, I think Zeke was ranked number 7. And this year he's coming as a rookie, and now he's coming in at number 54 on the Top 100 list. I know he had a little comment to say on that. I don't know if you remember what that was, but you think he's feeling disrespected or motivated by this? Could this motivate him at all? I mean, he might not even care about it.
No, I think he cares. I think the way he played it off was like, you know what? Everybody knows who I am. My teammates know who I am. The league knows who I am. So I don't need top 100 to validate that. But at the end of the day, when you're a player and you're an elite player, and then you go from being the number one leading rusher and then in a top 10 100, and then you drop that far and then nobody's talking about you, hell yeah, if you're a player, you're motivated. So just because he says, oh, I don't care about that top 100, yes, they do. They say that to the media, but these guys stay motivated, and any little thing that tries to motivate them, they will. And Ezekiel Elliott is a very competitive player. We saw that at Ohio State. We've been out here in Ohio, and you remember when he played Michigan State, and he did not get the ball that game, and they lost. And what did he say? He said, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and leave Ohio State because they didn't give me the ball. They need to feed me and give me the ball. So he is competitive. Wants to come back because nobody's talking about Zeke. Everybody was talking about Le'Veon, and even in the top running backs, he's still third behind Le'Veon Bell and your boy from the Cardinals. Was it? Is
David
it Johnson?
Johnson.
Whatever. Not
David
Johnson. But your boy from the Cardinals.
Yeah,
so
David Johnson.
I think he's super motivated. I think he's still super motivated. And 54 is disrespectful because at the end of the day, he's one of the top running backs in the league. So I think he's going to come in and try to go for that 2,000 yards.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to have an impact and hurt him a little bit because these are his peers that are voting on him. So this is what other players around the league think about him. So now he probably wants to go out there and punish him, prove him wrong for voting him like that. So we'll move on from here. And if you're commenting with us, keep them coming in. We're going to take some time to answer a few comments right before we sign off. We're going to keep rolling with a couple of topics here first. What kind of impact you think Taco can have this season?
I think, I wrote an article on Taco, and basically what I feel like Taco, I don't feel like Taco is going to be some devastating player. I don't think he's the war daddy type getting 14 sacks in a game, but I also said that Taco is a good player, and I think that he could be a 7-sack guy this year. Because nobody's talking about him. Everybody's talking about everybody else, and I think he still keeps that stuff in the back of his head, just like Ezekiel Elliott. They both came from the Big Ten, and those guys always play with a chip on their shoulder. So I think he can come back from last year because think about it, he played limited snaps and got 3 sacks. Limited snaps, and you saw him come on at the last maybe 5-6 games of the year, and he wasn't using that same spin move every freaking time. He actually started using his length. He actually started using some power that he had. And the main thing that we talked about, G, was when they drafted him that he needed to get bigger because he looked like a big small forward. So when you see him now, he's big and that size 6'6", 280. I think he's going to come in and show and prove, and I'm looking for at least 6 sacks this year. If he doesn't get 6 sacks this year, that's a disappointment.
I feel like 6 just isn't that much. That's just my opinion, especially for a guy that was picked in the first round. I don't know. I feel like I'd expect 10.
It was a lower first round. It wasn't no high first round pick, though. Yeah, and you got to look at Solomon Thomas was with the 49ers. He went 3rd. He got 3 sacks.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the expectations are higher when you're picked that high, at least for me. But you're not going to get a J.J. Watt in every draft.
No, you're not.
Will Zach Martin sign a deal before the season starts?
Let's hope. I don't know what the – I was about to say the F word because that pisses me off because it's frustrating me when you get Travis Frederick, who got his deal done right before training camp. You had Tyron Smith, who got his deal done right before training camp. And Zach Martin has been the great soldier. Zach Martin has not said anything. He's did it the right way. He's come in the league and has been a dog and dominant since he's been in the league day one. All Pro Bowl. You got to pay this man his money. And for him to be sitting out OTAs, I understand it because I wouldn't either, and I don't feel like they should be playing him. And I feel like, Tyson, he brought me in on his video, and he said that, I think that they're probably maybe taking Zach Martin's niceness and kind of drawing it out because he's a nice guy, and I don't think they should play with that. I think they should get it done before camp because we do have money, and when they sign those long-term deals, it opens up more space. It opens more space because then you can spread things out. You got to get that man his money, and I hope it happens for training camp because he deserves it and it needs to happen because we need a happy camper from Zach Martin. I don't think he's going to be happy if he doesn't get a deal done and he's playing on that rookie deal the rest of the year. I don't want that happening.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good. That would only be a distraction, and we just got the new guy, and we're feeling all good about it, and then you got that coming up, so hopefully
we don't need it.
Okay, then let's keep going along here. We had some news about Dez Bryant this week. Well, not really about him, but what somebody said about him. Aaron Rodgers was asked about Green Bay signing Dez Bryant, he says, why would you sign Dez if you're going to cut Jordy? Does he have a point there? I mean, there is like a 3-year age difference. Jordy's a little bit older.
Yeah, I think he definitely has a valid point because Jordy Nelson was still balling, and Dez Bryant never blew out his knee. Jordy Nelson blew out his knee, came back and was comeback. Was he not comeback player of the year with those numbers?
Yep, like 1,400 yards.
Yeah, 1,400 yards receiving after a blown-out knee. So if you can understand Aaron Rodgers, he's like, okay, Jordy Nelson was balling with us, and you cut him. So why would you bring in Dez Bryant, who was not balling, who has not been productive those last 3 years, and Nelson has? So you can see where Rodgers was saying, I don't think he was trying to really diss Dez Bryant. I think he was really taking up for his boy Jordy because I feel like him and Jordy had a really good relationship. And when you look at the whole aspect and the scope of it, it's like, why would you bring in Dez Bryant when Jordy Nelson's numbers were better than his? And I feel like Jordy Nelson offers a little more than Dez. Dez is a high point guy, but Jordy Nelson can kind of do it all.
Yeah, I feel like it was a little bit of a slap to Dez. A little bit, because now imagine if he was to go try to play there. Wouldn't that be kind of awkward?
Yeah, it'd be weird because the way he said it was, I don't know why it would happen, but if they do it, we'll welcome him with open arms. That don't sound like somebody really wants you there.
Yeah.
And I feel like Aaron Rodgers is a guy that doesn't like distractions. He doesn't like divas. And maybe he feels like Dez is a diva, and he maybe not want to deal with that.
I mean, he's played against him enough to know.
He should know. You know what I mean? I'm sure these guys are like us. I mean, they're a fraternity. They kick it. They talk with each other. So it's not like they don't know each other, and each of these players talk about each other. So I think it's more of he doesn't want the diva stuff up in Green Bay.
All right, we got about 15 minutes left here before we sign off. Let me just go ahead and run through here and give a few shout-outs for people that's been watching that we maybe haven't been able to shout them out yet. Eric Doxson's in there with us. He says Martin needs to get signed. I think everybody's feeling that way. Tristan Todd, he says he can't view our live stream here, but he can on Law Nation. That's strange. I don't understand why it's doing that.
Hey, what's
Sorry
up, Tristan?
about that,
I haven't
Tristan.
talked to you in a long time. Get back on that Big Game James page.
Ryan Dye says Rod is a beast. Not trying to take his credit, but Bo was a beast at Bama. Yes, he was. Ron Smith's in the house with us. He says, what's up, Big Game James, producer G? We need to find Ron Smith a girl. We see his posts all the time. Marcy Shabazz is in there with us. Lamar Bickers. And this is all on the Silver and Blue Nation Facebook Live. Dana Brining. I know we tried to Tyson, West Coast Cowboy, tried to give us a call a couple times, but this is kind of a different show today, so we're just going to
we apologize, Tyson.
Yeah, we're just going to get through what we're doing here because it's a shorter version of the show today. We'll be done here in about 15 minutes. And then real quick over here on Law Nation's YouTube channel as well, Christian Rodriguez, Cowboys Passion, Romello Owens, Gene Bryam, Rand Berg, everybody who's watching, William Hendricks, and commenting with us. We appreciate it. Go subscribe to the Silver and Blue Nation YouTube channel as well. Thank you very much. Somebody's name was Romeo Owens. It reminded me of T.O. I know he kind of was in the news. He's on the cover of Madden now. T.O.'s in the news now.
That dude is a weirdo, bro. Like, he is such an attention seeker. Like, I just don't listen to him. I'm sorry. When he was talking about Garrett, it was probably right what he was saying. But I just don't listen to T.O. I don't listen to none of his comments. Even that video you posted on Silver and Blue, I didn't watch it because I don't want to hear him.
It was a joke.
He makes a big spectacle out of everything he does. Now, you said Ron Smith needs a girlfriend. T.O. needs a girlfriend. He needs something in his life because you have something wrong with you because you seek attention like no other. Like a dude should not be doing that. Stop it.
Floyd Perrier wants to know, who's your undrafted free agent that makes the team?
I think that Cameron Kelly makes the team. And I don't know.
Safety?
I think Robinson has a good chance as well. You got a lot of guys. And that Osborne, he's one of those true one-techs that we need. He could possibly move a guy out. So it's going to be tough. Like, I'm going to make my 53-man roster. I posted it. I was only 3 people off. But it's going to be a lot tougher this year because I think undrafted free agents are going to maybe possibly push some people off this roster. And if that Osborne kid comes in and doing what he was doing at Oklahoma State and keeps his head right, somebody may get pushed off that roster. So I'm saying Osborne and Cameron Kelly from San Diego State.
Lorenzo Barr tunes in with us on our Silver and Blue Nation Facebook Live. We appreciate you leaving a comment with us. Let us know where you guys are watching from, where you're representing Cowboys Nation from. Put that down in the comments as well. The NFL changed the kickoff rules. You know what was new about that? I know there's a couple of small little things, but what are they trying to do? Are they trying to eliminate the kickoffs at some point? Is that really what the goal is here?
I feel like that's the way they're headed. You know what I mean? I feel like they're always preaching safety, safety, safety. It's football. I understand how you preach safety in football, but this is football. Even if you're the safest, even if you play the safest, one hit, your career could be done. So it's almost like let them play football. They signed up for this. Like, I get it, but they signed up for this. Okay, if my son wants to play football, he signed up for it. So even if I wouldn't want to see injury, he wanted to play. You feel me, G?
Yeah, you
so
assume
stop
the risk.
trying to make it so non-contact and let these guys play. Because one thing I noticed when I played football, if you always have to think about what you're doing, especially on the defensive side, you always tend to get hurt because you're thinking and not playing natural, and that's when those injuries come.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sticking on NFL topics for a sec before we get back to a little bit of Cowboys. Are you happy with the new NFL anthem policy that they came up with? Regarding
I don't know. I think that's frustrating. I heard a quote that they said the NFL is scared of Donald Trump, and that's why they're doing it, because they're scared of losing money and this and that. But at the end of the day, they just signed a $2 billion deal. The NFL is not losing money. All them fans that talk about they're not going to watch football, it's kind of like when I worked at T-Mobile. When somebody come in and cancel their line, 10 more added lines. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, you're going to have one person that probably is like, oh, I ain't watching NFL. But you're going to have 10 more people that say they are. So you're going to have more people saying they are there or not. I just feel like they should have never implemented that. They should have just left it alone and left it the way it was. I mean, what the hell? 15-yard penalty? I mean, what are you really saying? I mean,
Yeah,
what point are you really proving? You feel me, G? Like, what point are you proving? Nobody really. I mean, I don't know. It's just too touchy, because if you're sitting there worried about the flag, you're not. You just got something to talk about. Just shut up. I don't want to hear it.
I saw that there was a thing about how Tim Tebow kneeled during the anthem for abortion protest.
Yes.
And there was nothing said about that, so I just don't get why it's got to be a big deal, when other people want to do it. It's just, I don't know. The whole thing's a big mess to me. I don't really like talking about it, honestly.
I don't like talking about it either. That's why I like to stay away from it, because I think it's silly. But I really feel like the influence has been Donald Trump. I feel like Donald Trump has really influenced that rule, and I feel like that's why they made it, because at the end of the day, this is all about money, and Donald Trump was the main one that kept on coming. You saw it all last year. Anytime there was a kneeling, he was tweeting about it. And I feel like they did that to make him to appease him as the president. That's why I feel like that rule came in.
And it's
you don't even need to call it that, the kneeling rule. Call it the Donald Trump rule.
It's like a publicity thing too, because they don't want a bad look, like for the country.
Yeah.
Because if the NFL's players are protesting, that's worldwide. So they're going to hear about riffraff within their own country. So that's a big part of it too. Like you said, that could be that Trump influence. So I know Rico Gathers has kind of been seen in the OTAs and all that, looking pretty good, right? So what kind of impact you think he's going to have? You think he's going to be? You truly think he's going to step it up and be that guy this year?
I don't know. I can't. I honestly can't say that because, as I said, we see one story from Rico Gathers his first year. We see another story from Rico Gathers his second year. I can't even sit there and say I have any confidence in Rico Gathers. He looked really good at camp. He looks big and strong. But looking big and strong doesn't get you on the field and make plays. A lot of stuff came out from him this past week, where he was talking about he was ready after week 7 from concussion protocol. He also said that it wasn't his jaw, that it was media driven. And he also said that, he could have made a contribution of scoring touchdowns in the red zone, but, the team felt different. So it's kind of like, what's really going on with this Rico Gathers situation? I feel like half of the building says he doesn't work hard enough, let's get rid of him. The other half is like, yo, you don't get rid of no talent like that. So really it's up to Rico Gathers. But, I told you with the OTA starting, Jeff Swain was the number 1 tight end and Rico Gathers was the number 2 tight end. So obviously something must be happening, because they were pumping the Blake Jarwin thing. So It's up to Rico. If he can do it, he's going to change the whole dynamic of our team. So, me speaking to Rico, if you ever watch Silver and Blue Nation, get your head together, because if you come in and play hard, you are going to change the whole dynamic of the Dallas Cowboy offense because of what he brings to the table. So get it together, Rico. We all need you.
Our guy Law Nation thinks that Rico is a victim of Cowboys coddling players, meaning as in they can play but they don't want to put them out there for some reason. I'm not really sure what he means by coddling players, but that was his take on that situation after Rico had come out and said that he was cleared after week 7.
I think what he's saying about the coddling of players is that we get a guy who's injured, or we get a guy that, we don't want to hurt their feelings, so we stash them away, or we don't make anything that's going to hurt them. And I think that's what he's saying about the coddling of players, because we tend to do that. But in this situation, I feel like this is more, like I said, week 7, he came back from concussion protocol. I think they were trying to stash him because they were worried about nobody taking him, just like they did with Blake Jarwin, because when Philadelphia was trying to pluck him and they made him active and he wasn't really doing anything, but they made him active so Philadelphia can get him. So we have a situation where these Blake Jarwin, Rico Gathers, you got the Schultz kid, and then Swain, they got to step up this year because we have an unknown. And even though Jason Witten was not a threat like he used to, he still had 60 catches. He still was reliable. And somebody has to step in that spot and become a reliable guy, because the tight end is one of the most friendliest people the quarterback can have.
All right, one final thing before we say our final thoughts here. Orlando Scandrick in the news, firing shots at the Cowboys this week, playing for the Redskins. So that should make things interesting when we see them. Hopefully Dak just poops all over him.
Man, Orlando Scandrick, shut the hell up. You know what I'm saying? Let me give you a personal message to Orlando Scandrick, bruh. I ain't never like you, dog. I ain't never like you, and I'm going to come out and say it now. I ain't never like you, Scandrick, ever. When Mike Jenkins got drafted, I wanted him to stay on the team and not you. The only reason why I had any like for you is because you gave a team an edge with your attitude. But all the trash you talk, you got popped with ecstasy. You had like 7 picks in your whole career. You was overrated. People try to hype you when Miss Larry Fitzgerald said you one of the best slot corners. No, you ain't. You ain't one of the best slot corners ever in the league. You got toasted. Get your ass on to Washington. We're going to burn you so bad because you suck. And after you play 1 year in Washington, you're going to get cut. You're going to retire, and you suck. You suck, Orlando Scandrick. Bye.
That's some fire right there.
Yeah, you suck.
Yeah, I'm with you, though. Like, I never really cared for him that much either. He got overpaid. He got that big contract. He never got interceptions.
He got 3 contracts from us, G.
I know, man. I don't know what they had. What they were so infatuated with this guy. I don't know.
Man, he sat out. You know what we did for him? He sat out when he still had a contract with us, and they extended his contract while he sat out for what? You're a bum.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. You got to get going.
Yeah, you seen Mom Dukes, didn't you?
Yeah, you said it right before we started the show. Should be out there at 2:30. All right, real quick before we sign off, I want to thank everybody who tuned in. And if we didn't get your comment, make sure you check us out next Sunday. We'll be here. Big Game James will be back live in the studio with his new car, feeling good. So he's happy as hell right now. You see the big smile on his face. And just real quick, a quick note. OTAs, Week 2, May 29th through the 31st, and then Week 3, June 4th through the 6th. So for those of you who didn't know, those are going to be the dates for OTAs if you want to keep up with that. And it was a nice little 45-minute show.
Hey, and once again, I apologize that we couldn't get to everybody's comments and talk like we used to. But like I said, we didn't want to go a week without doing the show because so much was stuff going on. But guess what? We're coming back next week with that fire. We're going to be bringing everything, the heat and everything. The OTAs are going on, so we apologize. I officially apologize for that. But hey, don't stop watching that Silver and Blue Nation. You keep subscribing, keep giving them 5 ratings, and keep on loving us like you do. And we're going to still come with the fire because this is going to be a hot season this year.
If you like the video, give us a big thumbs up and give us a share. We appreciate it. And until next week, that's Big Game James.
And that's the producer G, who's Voltron kicking it up like he always does.
And then the show ends like that.